of the more radical unions in the entire country will now be picking permanent resident candidates and referring them to Canadian immigration officials. What could possibly go wrong? The Canadian Labour Congress has been granted the authority by the federal government to pre-screen potential permanent residents to Canada. The union has been made a de facto arm of the immigration process here in Canada. I know, it sounds too crazy to be true, but here it is in a Canada.ca press release about the whole scheme. Canada has launched a new temporary initiative to create a pathway to permanent residency for up to 500 out-of-status workers in the construction industry in the Greater Toronto Area. These construction workers have come to Canada and made contributions to its economy and currently have limited means to regularize their status. Over many years, even decades, some workers who have come to Canada with valid temporary resident status and who have filled labor shortages in the construction industry have fallen out of status. Potential applicants will first identify themselves to the Canadian Labour Congress, a national labor organization with many construction industry affiliates in the GTA. CLC officials will determine the eligibility of potential applicants and refer them to Immigration, Refugees, and Citizenship Canada. Hold on a second here, folks. These aren't new applicants to Canada. Although allowing a union to determine who can be an applicant for permanent residency is crazy enough on its face, this whole thing is even crazier because these are people who overstayed their initial work permit and who are now in the country illegally. These are people who are supposed to be deported, and yet they are getting quote-unquote regularized and given preferential treatment. And a far left-wing union gets to be the deciders of it all. Trudeau's Planet Unicorn is a crazy, crazy place. And I'm not even remotely exaggerating when I say that the CLC is one of Canada's more radical unions. The CLC has been denounced by Canadian Jewish groups for passing anti-Israel motions, perpetuating the age-old anti-Semitic trope that Israel is somehow an illegal occupier of her own land. The union has also called Canada's support for Venezuelan opposition leader Juan Guaido an escalation of international interference in the democratic process of a sovereign nation. Yeah, they're pro-Maduro. And of course, the Labour Congress is calling for open borders, that Canada should be a safe haven for all, whatever that means. Here is reality. Canada lost over 24,000 jobs in July and unemployment rose to 5.7%. How does quote-unquote regularizing so-called out-of-status workers help Canadians and legal immigrants, those newcomers who played by the rules to get here and stay here? This only helps the union get more members and pads their election attack coffers with a greasy government contract paid out by you and me. For Rebel News, I'm Sheila Gunn Reid. Rachel Notley isn't Premier of Alberta anymore, but her attacks on the free press remain. To get the full story of how NDP appointees remaining within the Alberta government are trying to prosecute me for writing a book that hurt Rachel Notley's feelings, go to SaveSheila.com.